Hello students and welcome to today's informatics practices class. I hope that you have done a thorough practice of how we studied and what to do when we are using if statements, else if statements and else statements. So let us look at the last question that we discussed in our video of the last class. So in this question, it was asked that suppose there is a source code given to you, and if the source code says that an if statement is using a membership operator in to check if the string var is present in the keys of the given dictionary. Because this if statement will return true, print will first print the value 1, then print the value 2, and because the next statement is again an if statement, so this becomes an example of nested if. It is now checking if the value a is present in the string qux. As this is false, this will not execute. Only three statements are present within the body of this if statement. This fourth statement is not part of this if. So even if it would have been false in the first place, then also this print statement would have executed. As of now, because this if statement is true, this statement which prints 1, which prints 2, and which prints 4 will be executed as, and hence our output will be 1, 2, and 4. Let us start with our today's topic, and our today's topics will cover for loops and while loops, which are a part of iterative statements in Python. So where do we use iterative statements? We have talked about where should we use conditional statements such as if, where we do not want sequential execution of code. Iterative statements are used where we want repeated execution of code. So let us take an example. A teacher is supposed to display the roll numbers and names of all the students of a class. He or she has created a Python dictionary to store the values. Now, but it is now using individual print statements to print the value of each student. Is the approach correct? So definitely, as you can see that when we have dictionary, we can only directly iterate with the help of iterative statements. So the approach of going line by line with print statement, print statement, print statement is not correct. Can you suggest a better approach? So yes, the better approach here would be using a iterative statement such as for loop. The trait that will be developed when you be studying questions like this will be high order of thinking skills. For loops, let us see how this will happen. The for loop statement is used to iterate over a range of values. So for example, let us take uh, a simple example of a list which has three values: stone, paper, and scissors. When we iterate it with the help of for loop, for I in item, each value from this list will be set in the variable I. So I will first have the value stone, then it will iterate with this value stone. As there is only one statement, this iteration will complete very soon, and it will print the value of what is present in I. As the current value of I is stone, will print stone. As soon as this completes, we'll move on to the next iteration. In the next iteration, we'll have paper as the value of I. This gets printed over here, and the output will be paper. And in the third iteration, we have scissors as the value of I, and this will be printed after it. So, as you can see, the for loops are used to iterate over a range of values. If you have suggested range in terms of list, then all the elements of list will be iterated. If it is a string, then each element or each character is treated differently. Just take a look at the example over here. As you can see that we have now taken stone, paper, and scissors as string values over here. The items string will now give each character, that is, first it will give the character S. the character S will be printed, and then because we have updated the value of the end argument as hash, at the end we will not move down to the next line, rather it will show a hash symbol over here. As the print statement is over and there is only one statement in this for loop, we'll move towards the next uh, character, that is T. Then we'll move forward and store print T. Then the same happens with O and E. Even commas, which are a part of the string, will be printed, and each of them will be separated by these hash symbols. So this is how for loops work. Python generally relies on the concept of indentation. So we have already seen this concept working very well with uh, if statements. So when we were using if statements, if we didn't use any indentation, it was showing us error. Let us see how this works. So let us assume that there is a code like this. So if I just indent this code by bit, it will start showing me an error. The reason is that there's an unexpected indent. This indent was not needed because we are not in any compound statement. Say we have used a compound statement such as for. Each compound statement can be differentiated with the help, because each compound statement has this colon symbol over there. So if I by mistake forgot to put on, my bad, to put on this print indentation, then now it will show that it expects an indentation. So you can very well understand that indentation are necessary, but then it should not be given without any purpose. So every particular, how long will the body of this particular if statements, or how long will the body of this particular for will be considered? As long as we are putting in statements with the same indentation level. Let me just show you the example for this. So suppose I have another print statement over here, that is print hello. I don't want hello world. And now I will put a print at a different indentation level. Now it will, if I put it neither at this indentation level nor at this indentation level, again this will give me an error. It will say unindent does not match any outer indentation level. So because there is no indentation level, no compound statement just before this, and I have given an uneven indent, I have neither kept it at this indentation level nor at this indentation level, then again it will give me an error. So I will remove the indentation. Now this word will not be printed until unless this particular for loop repeats. So when I run this program, you can see that this is being printed like this. Every particular statement will be ended with hash. Then you will have a hello, because it is a part of this loop. How do we know that it is a part of this loop? Because it is at the same indentation as the previous statement. And this statement is not a part of this for loop because it is not indented. So be very careful while giving the indentations. Improper indentation may lead to deduction of marks. Let us move ahead. And the next we have range function. The range function returns a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default. So the default value for start of range function is 0. And then the default value for incrementing the range will be 1. And for how long will the range work? 1 less than the end value that you have suggested. So for example, we have written for I in the range 4. Just 4 is written. So the default value is 0, that it will start from 0. It will go from 0, incrementing itself by 1, which is again the default value of increment. And it will go until 3. It will not print 4. The reason is the range function will only return values 1 less than the end value. So 0, 1, 2, 3. That is this. Let us take another example of this. Say for now, we have uh, you also use the format function over here. The format function has been used because it was raised as a query by a few of your friends, that what is the use of format. So the format function is used with strings to format the value of a particular part of string. You can use the format function. I've also inserted the link of W3 schools where you can see that how all format functions can work. As this is not a part of our regular syllabus, we will not cover it in detail, but we have just done the small example over here. In this example, we are taking range from 2 to 4. So the numbers 2 and 3 will be printed. So first it will be printed normally. Then what we have done is we have specifically said, so format will be shown with the help of these curly braces. And we have specifically said that the value that will be printed over here will be in the format of 0.2f. So 0.2f is nothing but it says that two decimal places will be shown. So, and what will be the what will be shown as value? The particular number which I possesses will be given or will be shown as the value. So VAL equals to I will have the value of I stored in VAL, or VAL will now start pointing to the same memory location which I points to. The second one is more of a Python type of definition. So as you can see, the second statement prints 2.0 and 3.0. Let us take another example. For I in the range 2, 10, 2, and you print I, comma, end will have space. So what is it doing? I have changed the default value of start from 0 to 2. I've changed the default value of increment from 1 to 2, and I have now put a space over here. So as you can see, 2, 4, 6, and 8 will be printed. What would have happened if I would have changed it like this? Instead of instead of plus 2, we we would say that there is a default increment of minus 2. So what would happen? Let's just print a statement to suggest that it has indent, and now when we run this, just end is printed. So you can see that if it is not in the range, if we are not moving in the straight direction, it is not going to form an infinite loop. Okay, because we are not moving in this direction. Although the if we reduce minus, if we or if we do an increment of minus 2 in 2, it will result in 0. But because it is not moving towards its range, it will not result in an infinite loop. So just be aware of this. The next concept of which we'll study is about while loops. So while loops repeat as long as a certain Boolean condition is true. As simple as that. The for loops will iterating as long as there were a set of values which were left uniterated. The while loops will iterate until unless your Boolean condition is true. So while loop are a typical type of loop which you will see in other programming languages also. For is more of a type of iterator rather than looping statement. We will call in perspective of different other programming language. We'll take this as an iterator, or we'll take this as a type of iterator, while are more of a type of loop which you will also see in other programming languages. But the concept remains the same. There's no differences in the concept, and if you implement the concept with the help of for over here, I am definitely sure that you will be able to do it with the concept as it is there in other programming languages such as Java, C++, and whatnot. So let us see this source code. The source code says that there is a variable n which will in which we will take input of a number from the user. Then there is a variable I in which we will be hard coding the value of 1. We'll do a print statement which suggests printing all odd numbers less than the entered value. And then we'll do a while statement. The while will print the value of I and incrementing the I by 2 every time, and it will do the same task time and again until the value of I is not greater than or equal to n. Until unless it is less than n, it is well and good. It will keep on iterating. As soon as it gets equal to or greater than n, it will end. So let us just see how this will iterate. So suppose we entered a number. Just don't enter a large number. It will take, or else it will take a long amount of time. So printing all odd numbers less than the entered value. The entered value is 12. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 have been printed. As simple as that. You can do the very same thing for an even number also. Just ensure that you have 2 over here, and then you can print until unless the number is less than. No problems again. The increment will again be 2 in case of even numbers. So here are the questions for us. Write a program in Python that prints all the elements of a tuple. So suppose, for example, there is a tuple. There is a tuple x. How do we denote a tuple? We denote a tuple if it is a multiple element tuple, no problems. We can always write it like this. 55, 78. Okay. And if it is a single element tuple, we have discussed that it is mandatory to ensure that for all single element tuples, we will keep the element and follow it with a comma. Comma is mandatory for ensuring that Python considers it as a tuple. So printing all elements of tuple. Let us just do it through the for loop. For I next, just this much will help. Don't think that anything else will be needed. Print I, and when we run this, ta-da, it is done. 15, 55, and 78. If you do not want them to be printed downwards and rather in a straight line, just you can just add something like this, comma. Okay. Oh, my bad. I didn't set end equals to comma. It is my bad. 15, 55, 78. Okay. So as simple as that. No problems, I suppose. Let us look at the next question. The next question says that write a program in Python that prints even numbers in a given sequence of lists. So suppose there is a given sequence of lists. So as soon as they say list, make sure that this is a square bracket. So, and make sure you are only entering number. There are nothing else than number over here. So these are all the numbers that I have entered. Printing all even elements of list. Okay. Again for I next, no problems. We will take all the elements of I again. And but should we print all the numbers over here? No, we should not. Here we are not supposed to print all the numbers. We are only supposed to print the numbers which are even. And what? How will we say that a particular number is even? If a number is divisible by 2, it is even. This is the most basic definition, which every one of you, each one of you, I think will know that if a number is divisible by 2, it is an even number. So I think we have to condition this print statement. This print statement should not just be printing all the numbers. It should only be printing numbers if the value that I has when it is done modulus by 2, it should return 0. If this happens, then you can say that this statement, that the number that is there in I is a even number. So on running this, 22 and 46, 85, 47, 35 and 89 are not even numbers. Okay, so pretty simple, straightforward. Here I will have at a time one value from this list, and it will be evaluated likewise. So we have not here I will have the values. Remember, it will not have index values of x. Another way of doing it could have been that we find the length of x, and then we could have done it. It could have been another way. In that function, we could have used the uh, range method. And the last question is, what will be the output of the following Python code? Seems very simple. It is actually um, I has a value 1. The while loop says true. So what will this mean? That this condition is not going to be false. Okay, this condition will remain true. This is a forever true condition, and because there is a break statement, there are chances that it will break. Had there been no break statement, then it would have become an infinite loop. So let us see uh, how it will iterate. I will have a value 1. 1 when then a modulus will 3 will give you again 1 as a remainder, and which is not equals to 0. Because it is not equals to 0, will not execute the break statement, will just execute the print statement. And again, although separated by a space, I plus equals to 1 is another statement which is at the same indentation level over here. So what you can see is this while loop also has this increment statement. When we print I as 1, so the first output over here is 1. Then we increment the value of I by 1, it will turn to 2. 2 is, as addition is, while 2 is written, so we do not have to take care of that. 2 modulus 3 is again not equals to 0. So will again not break. We'll print the value, 2 will be printed. Again, the value will be incremented to 3. Now, when dividing 3 by 3, the remainder will be 0. The break statement will execute because this is true. And because the break statement has executed, it will take us out of this loop. We'll study more about the break statement in our next video. For now, this is it. If there are any problems, if you were not present in the class and you were not able to join the classes, just don't worry. If you have any problems, just ping me on my mail ID. You also have my phone numbers in your WhatsApp group. Just feel free to contact between the given time slots, and I will be very happy to help you guys. Just don't shy away with your doubts. Stay safe during this lockdown period and during this unlock period, and enjoy your time. Keep studying, just don't stop studying. Bye bye, everyone.